Matt McWilliams, aka the affiliate guy. So Matt has a ton and a world of experience when it comes to onboarding affiliates for your online offers who can go out and get your sales. So this is a insanely crazy world where there's people making millions all over the place.
A couple of months, we've made payroll. I've got a few affiliates. We're making a little bit of money. And I decided to put it on steroids, and we can talk about that story. In about 18 months after we started the affiliate program, we're doing over $1 million a month. Since then, I've run close to 100 affiliate programs, worked with some people ranging from like Shark Tank's Kevin Harrington to Tony Robbins, Jeff Walker, Ryan Levesque, Stu McLaren, all the top online marketers at this point. Worked with over 320,000 affiliates, sold over 325,000 books for us and our clients.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm here with Matt McWilliams, aka the affiliate guy. So Matt has a ton and a world of experience when it comes to onboarding affiliates for your online offers who can go out and get your sales for you. This is a insanely crazy world where there's people making millions all over the place. Matt is at the forefront, at the center of it, and he's going to deliver a ton of value today. And I'm super excited for this podcast. So Matt, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, excited to be here, Lucas. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Excited for you to be here. So let's take a step back before we go, deep into affiliates and all that stuff. Tell us, a little bit about you, the story, what you've been doing over the last few years and what your, life looks like now.
Oh my gosh. So I'm looking like a dinosaur in the online marketing world. I got into the world back in 2002. My dad and I were teaching, actually 2001. My dad and I got into we're teaching these golf schools. And cool. I was a golf instructor with my dad. I grew up playing golf. I played in college, played professionally for a couple of years after college. And so I'm doing these golf schools with my dad. And one day I kind of looked at, I was 23 years old, 22, 23 years old. And I'd make like $4,000 on a weekend, for a 3-day golf school, which was like insane amount of money. I lived with my mom. I paid her $250 a month in rent. And, 10, 12 weeks out of the year, I'm making $4,000. Like it was crazy. It was awesome. And I looked at my dad. I was like, what would happen if instead of having 4 people at these schools, like, could we handle it if we had 6? What if we spent a little bit of money? There's this website called Google where like people search for things and then they come to the website, and then I don't know how it works, but we'll figure it out, And, nowadays, of course, we teach people like come to the website, opt into my email list. I'll nurture you. And maybe 30, 60, 100 days later, I'll sell you a $2,000 product. Back then, you had 2 choices when you came to my website. You gave me $2,000 for a 3-day golf school, or you left. But we were spending 10 cents a click. Now, to be clear, that is not replicatable today. That same click would cost at a minimum $15, probably for a competitive search term. I was spending 10 cents a click. I was the only person doing it, basically in the golf school world. And I spend 10 cents a click. I convert 1 out of 200 people. So I'd spend $20 to acquire a $2,000 customer. I mean, the ROI was insane, right?
Yeah.
So next thing you know, all of a sudden we have like 6, 7, 8 people showing up for these golf schools. I'm making, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, and I'm doing them every weekend, 45, 48 weeks of the year. And we're also doing, midweek stuff and all these things. And I mean, the money was crazy. And again, I'm living with my mom paying $250 a month in rent. It was, now that looking back, I was like, I'm a terrible person. I made like 10 times more than her and paid her $250 a month, but don't judge me. I was 22 years old. All right. So my friend and I that grew up together playing golf, we'd always joked that we were not going to be one of those people who grew up playing golf and then 10 years later gave up on their dream and were like teaching old ladies in purple sweaters. It was always old ladies in purple sweaters. We're not going to teach them how to play golf. So here I am on the tee, I'm on the practice tee. I didn't really love teaching golf, but I love the marketing side. I loved the market. I would literally like get off work and I'd go home and I would play around with Google ads. And what if I did this? And if I learned how to code websites, you had to code them back then, by the way, if you didn't know that, like hand code them. I learned how to do all that and how to make things, do cool things. I would spend 4 hours just to be able to make like a drop-down menu, which you can do, in 2 seconds on WordPress or ClickFunnels now. But I'd spend 4 hours. I was like, I can make a drop-down menu. And I'm like, my dad's like, what does that do? And I'm like, well, it makes our website cooler. And he's like, well, does that make us more money? I was like, we'll probably convert like 1 out of 199 people now. So yeah, we'll make like an extra $1,000 a year. He's like, cool, whatever, man. He like never owned a cell phone, never got on the internet a day in his life before he passed away. So one day, sure enough, an old lady in a purple sweater, about a 75-year-old lady, sweetest lady in the world. If I could adopt her as my grandmother, I would have, wearing a lavender sweater, shows up. And I sent my little 0.2 megapixel flip phone. I took a picture, sent it to my friend Hunter, the one I was talking about growing up. And I said, kill me now. Now, Lucas, you may not know this, but a female would respond back and say, oh, honey, a female would fly with a casserole to my doorstep that day and hug me and nurture me and say, I'm so sorry. I know your life's dreams have crumbled around you. I'm here for you. They like whatever, right? But like a good male friend, Hunter responded back and said, haha, sucks to be you. Yeah. And so that was the beginning of the end. I realized then I never wanted to teach another golf, school in my life. Got out of that, but I'd fallen in love with marketing. I got bitten by the marketing bug. 4 years later, Hunter and I have a business. Google ads are not 10 cents a click. We're in a competitive niche in the financial world, and clicks are $15, $20, and we're broke. We're about to go out of business. We can't make payroll in 2 weeks. And we have one of those like come to Jesus meetings. We just paid payroll the day before. It's Saturday of Memorial Day weekend here in the States. Memorial Day weekend's late May. And for those of you who aren't in the US, and it's usually a 3-day weekend, Saturday through Monday, where most Americans sit around eating grilled food, drinking beer, getting sunburnt. It's like the kickoff to summer. I spent the whole weekend indoors working because I said, we're trying to figure out how we're going to make money. How can we make enough money to pay payroll? I was like, well, I've heard about these things called affiliates. Again, this is 2005. Not very common back then. There's no podcast that has almost 600 episodes talking about this stuff. I've written books and articles and all kinds of stuff about this stuff. None of that existed back then. What the heck is an affiliate? Well, it's somebody that promotes us, but we don't pay them till 30 days later. Well, that sounds appealing. How do we find affiliates? I don't know. I Google it. It is no help. There's no affiliate guy back then. There's nobody. There's a forum and one blog post that I found that so I invented a lot of it. I know some of it existed, but I basically just made it up. People were doing it, but nobody was teaching it, And so I figured it out. I messaged our developer who was over in Moldova, which is, a former Soviet republic. I said, can you build this thing? It's like an affiliate tracking platform on top of our site. And how fast can you build it? He's like, wow. Sure, give me a couple of days. I'm like, all right. Now you go to a network like ShareSale and it's there. You go to ClickBank, it's there. They have post-affiliate, there's tons of plugins on Shopify and WordPress. You can just, boom, have an affiliate program in an hour. Back then, we had to create it. And I had to give him 5% of all the sales to build it because I didn't have money to pay him. He's lived in Moldova is basically a third world country. Over the next couple of years, we paid him almost $500,000 in royalties on building that. Good deal for him. All right, so good deal. Fast forward a couple of months. We've made payroll. I've got a few affiliates. We're making a little bit of money. And I decided to put it on steroids, and we can talk about that story. In about 18 months after we started the affiliate program, we're doing over $1 million a month. Saved the company, made payroll, hired about 52 other people. And next thing you know, since then, I've run close to 100 affiliate programs, worked with some people ranging from Shark Tank's Kevin Harrington to Tony Robbins, Jeff Walker, Ryan Levesque, Stu McLaren, all the top online marketers. I've sold for our clients and our own. We've sold well into the hundreds of thousands of courses and other products at this point. Worked with over 320,000 affiliates, sold over 325,000 books for us and our clients, 11, 12, somewhere in there, 11, 12, 13 best, 12, because my book made the 12. So I have a dozen bestsellers for us and our clients. And it all started with, we were desperate, needed a way to make money without spinning it up front. So that's my story in a nutshell. See what happens when you ask me a question like that, Lucas? I'll just go.
I'm hurting inside right now that we only have an hour. I feel like we need, a 3-4 hour, Joe Rogan episode with this, man. I know you got some crazy stories and some advice. So tell us, for someone who hasn't an online course or an online coaching program or wants to kind of launch on, how affiliates work and how they kind of help. I know there's kind of different affiliates, but assume the listener knows nothing about them. Maybe kind of help us understand kind of what goes on, what that process looks like, and how they actually make you money.
Yeah, I mean, I equate it to, the concept's been around since the dawn of man. 5,000 BC, you got the ancient Romans. I don't know if Rome was a thing in 5,000 BC. I don't know my ancient Roman history that well, but you had Claudius and Brutus walking down the street in their togas, on their way to whatever. And Claudius says to, Brutus, hey, you told me you were looking for a good deli. Let me introduce you to, okay, those are the only 2 Roman names I know. So let me introduce you to this other Roman guy. I'm like out of Rome. I need to come up with a 3rd Roman name for this example here. Julius, how about that? Because I know
nice.
Julius Caesar.
Caesar.
Marcus Aurelius, what's the guy from Gladiator? I forgot his name. Russell
Maximus. Is that right?
Maximus Decimus Meridius. Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
I think he's Spanish though, actually. Yeah.
He is, but he's Roman, in that sense.
That's true. That's true.
It's funny. He's a Spaniard with an Australian accent, but
I love it.
I always love that in the movies. You get like every French movie, every movie I've ever watched that has France, all the actors are British. Yeah. You ever notice that? Like, what the heck? Anyway, so they're walking down the street and he's like, let me introduce you to, we'll go with Marcus. Let me introduce Marcus. He's a deli, he runs a deli. And then Marcus is like, hey, Claudius, thanks for the introduction. By the way, here's a couple coupons for some free sandwiches, right? The concept's been around since the dawn of man. We just introduced technology to it 30 years ago. And what all that allowed us to do as an entrepreneur, as somebody who wants to refer business to companies that I know, like, and trust, all it did was I don't have to have a personal relationship with them. I don't have to hand walk them to the store. I don't have to do anything like that or send an email. I can send an email to my list of whom, the reality is, 31,217 of the 31,250 people in there, I don't know them. There's like 20 or 30 people on there that I have a personal relationship with, or even another 50 or 100 that I might even remember their name from a time we exchanged emails. That's just the reality of our world, right? We have an audience and we don't know most of them. And so I can send the link to them and it tells the system, again, using technology like IP addresses and cookies and contact records and all that, hey, Matt's the guy who referred this. If at any point in the future there's a transaction where money exchanges hands, share some of the money with him. That's all we did was introduce. The concept is still there. The card has been there the whole time. The concept is you have an audience, you have friends. We think, well, I don't have an audience. For the, like, I hear this all the time with like affiliate marketers, like, I don't have an audience. Yes, you do. The average person has 125 friends on Facebook. Everybody has an audience in 2023. In 2024, everybody has an audience. Even if it's just, your 19 Twitter followers, you still have an audience. You have an email list. You have the magic rectangle. That's what I call smartphones, where I can open it up and I can go to the text thing and I can type compose and I can type the letter A and holy crap. This is how many, I'm not going to show by my contacts. When I type the letter A, I scrolled for a while there. That's how many people pop up on my we all have an audience. We have an audience. So they can promote. So like you got course, take your students. Well, I'm not in the online marketing space. They don't have an audience. Yeah, they do. What do you teach? You teach nutrition. You teach nutrition, right? So you have a course about it's one of our clients. We have a course in nutrition. We have over 25,000 affiliates, most of whom aren't influencers. They don't have a traditional audience, right? They're just marketing it on Facebook and saying, hey, I took this course, I got these results, and they each have 2 friends who are interested, one of whom buys. And if everybody has one person who buys, it becomes a self-perpetuating program. It's like a virus. I learned this with COVID. When COVID had a 1.2% or 1.2 rate of infection, it grew at an exponential rate, 1.2. When it got down to like 0.9, it began to die off more, right? Still around, but the transmission rate reduced. If you can have a 1-to-1 transmission rate, your affiliate program is self-sustaining for the life of the program. And that's all you need. You don't need people with big audiences. That's what people think. Oh, I got to go get the big guys. Most of them are going to say no. You just get your customers, get the small guys, get the guy with the list of 800 people. He just makes one sale. And then that guy has an audience of 125 people and he makes one sale. That's all it takes.
Yeah. It's crazy. And what is there like a spectrum of offer or types of products that works for affiliates specifically? Like if I have an online course or a program, everything?
Yeah, everything. Yeah. Every niche, every industry. I mean, there are some services. I had a guy once who's like, well, I work with government contract or government. He said, I teach people how to get government contracts. And most of my people are government contractors. Like, you have a sales course, dude. That's just a niche within selling. All these people, like people who are, here's what I've learned. People who are government contractors know other government contractors. You don't think they couldn't recommend it? And even if they don't have to, like, you, maybe I wouldn't recommend it with my competitors, but if you're a government contractor, say in the aerospace industry, and you make aerospace engines, and this is a weird exercise, one thing, you probably know a government contractor that does pavement, and you could recommend this course to him. He's like, oh my gosh. Like, again, most of our friends, and not necessarily family members, but most of the people that we know are fairly homogenous to us. That is the reality. It's not a bad thing. We want to hang around people like, oh, we need more diversity. I agree with that on a macro level. All right. But at the same time, I don't want to go hang around with I don't want to hang around with a chiropractor, a rabbi, and a dentist, because I have nothing to talk to them about. And I don't want to hang around with a bunch of people who are 20 years younger than me or 30 years older than me. Yes, occasionally I like to talk to people who are in their 70s and hear about the Korean War and learn about their history. I think that's fascinating, but I don't want to hang around with them on a regular basis, because we end up just talking about the Korean War a lot, and I don't care that much about it. So we hang around a fairly homogenous audience. Guess what? I'm friends with a lot of online marketers. Shocking, right? So I can easily, if somebody came to me, like, we have a client that's an AI attorney, right? His whole thing is like, don't get sued, learn how to use AI the right way and protect your intellectual property, right? He's the world's best IP and AI attorney out there. His name is Peter Nieves. And I can instantly just go to like 100 people and say, dude, you got to meet this guy. Why? Because I have those 100 people, because we're pretty much the same. We're talking about the same things. We're interested in the same things. Newsflash, most of my friends have relatively similar political beliefs to me. Newsflash, most of my friends, not all, but most, are male. I mean, that's just the reality of life. So when you think about that, like, well, they don't have an audience. Yes, they do. It's called their friends. It's called friends. The magic rectangle. Go to the green thing, the little green box with the white thought bubble or talk bubble. Click on it. Click on the compose thing. Start typing letters. You have an audience.
Love it. Love it. Well, let's dive into a little bit more of the tactical side. I'm sure we'll, come up with some, stories and examples. So if, like we said, we have an online course, maybe we're running ads to it, we're selling it organically ourselves. Pretend, you were to come in as a consultant and build out a affiliate partnership program for us. What does that kind of process look like? What's the first step in that process?
A lot of people think the first step is technological. I disagree. The tech is so easy these days. That was my first step. I went and talked to the developer. Now, at the same time, I mapped it out with the developer. That was about 2 p.m. I mapped it out with the developer. By 5 p.m., I was done with that part. He was working on that. I was working on the recruiting. I assumed we were going to have a fully functional affiliate program by Tuesday. The old saying, what is it? Entrepreneurs, you jump off the cliff and build the airplane on the way down. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
The reality is the tech piece is so easy. There are so many plugs. So plug and play things. They're out of the box solutions. If you can use Microsoft Word and you can bold text and underline text and format a paragraph in Microsoft Word, if you can add an image to Microsoft Word, you can run an affiliate program. All right. If you can't do those things, okay, then you are in that group of people who is so non-techie, it's frightening, and you're going to need to hire somebody. All right. So the software piece is not the issue. If you're already on a platform, I'm agnostic about platforms. If you're already on Infusionsoft, it's built in. If you're already on ClickFunnels, it's built in. If you're already on, Kartra, it's built in. If you're already on Kajabi, it's built in. It's not very good. That's a whole different thing. Not going to go there, but it's there, and it'll serve the purpose. If you have an email list, you have an affiliate platform. Now, this is the thing. You can do it for free. You don't even have to buy anything. I don't have any money to buy the extra tracking map, because there's Post Affiliate Pro and there's WP Affiliate and there's all the stuff with all these other things. There's Shopify plugins. Just have them create a special link and have them go to that list and then track it manually. Because I have done that with clients, not clients, but like friends who literally have $0 and like, just track it in MailChimp. Is that scalable beyond 10 affiliates? Nope. But you can have 10 people make you $5,000, you take a chunk of that $5,000 and go buy the software. Okay. So we solved the software piece. That takes 8 seconds, right? The next piece is you start making a list of potential affiliates. Number one, your customers. If you already have customers, start there. You are never going to find a better affiliate in terms of being an evangelist for your course, your program. If you have members, start there. Anybody who's ever given you money, make them affiliates. What I do when I take over an affiliate program is the first thing I do is I reach out to their customers, and we turn thousands of them into affiliates. Now, you may not have thousands of customers, so that's impossible. But if you got 50 customers, turn 20 of them into affiliates. All right, so that's number one. Number two, your friends, again, not like just, your aunt who's going to go onto Facebook and, post about it wrong, but your actual friends who are kind of maybe in the space a little bit. They have a little bit of an audience above and beyond just, again, their Facebook following, things like that. Your friends, acquaintances that you've met before, people like that. Third, this is where it starts to get a little bit more difficult, but also starts to get, much more potential. Third place I'm going to look is our competitors. Not necessarily actually working with our competitors yet, although I can share how you can do that. It's pretty cool. But I want to go out and get our competitors affiliates. So I could probably share 20 different ways to do this, but the first one, just Google the name of the company, Google the name of the product. Let's say my course is similar to, I'm going to make one up, Peter Smith's bestseller blueprint, right? All right. Peter does not have a best-selling blueprint that I know of, but he's a guy who teaches authors how to get a bestseller. And that's what I do, right? So I'm going to go look up Peter Smith's bestseller blueprint. I'm going to find every interview he's done, everybody that's ever promoted him. I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to say, hey, you promoted Peter. You promoted his course. Hey, I've got this other course. Here's how it's similar, but here's how it's different. It's similar in that it basically teaches you A, B, and C, but it's different in that it teaches you how to do it without major media or paid advertising. Okay, so that's a difference, right? That's one way. The other way is to go to Amazon. I call it the Amazon rabbit trail. Amazon does a lot of the work. If you can find a product or a book, especially about your topic. So you have a course about, let's come up with a course, hydroponic gardening.
Cool.
All right. I know nothing about that. I think that's where you put water. I think that's the water thing. I think we did it in like 8th grade biology class. But anyway, yeah. So this is a weird niche. I don't know if there's many books. Okay, let's find a better one.
Maybe let's do how to start a podcast.
Okay, there you go. There are books about how to start a podcast, right? Go to Amazon, find a book. Book number 1. I want to find everybody who promoted that book. So I go back to Google, I type in the name of that book. I find all the people that, again, he did podcast interviews with or that have posted about the book, right? Could be social media posts, could be blog posts, whatever. Is that finding everybody who promoted it? No, but I'm finding probably 80 to 90% of the people who promoted this book.
Wow. And
then you go back to Amazon.
And on that point, you're just searching the name, the name of the product. That's it. And then you'll see, okay, wow.
Yep. Now, here's the cool thing about Amazon. Amazon does the work for us. Amazon says people who bought this book also bought this book. Mm-hmm. So I pick the next thing. Now, how to start podcasting. Okay, now there's also people who promote certain podcasting equipment because they might be interested in promoting a book about podcasting. Dude, you could spend months just going down this rabbit trail. Endlessly find affiliate after affiliate after affiliate after affiliate. One of the biggest mistakes I see, though, is people will spend 3 months and they'll get a spreadsheet with 1,000 names on it and they haven't reached out to one. Every day, I'm going to reach out. If I find 17 people, I'm going to reach out to those 17 today. And then tomorrow, I'm going to find 14 more. I'm going to reach out to those 14. Now, here's the cool thing. When I hit day 8, I'm going to reach out not only to the 22 people I find on day, but the 17 from day 1. And then the next day, I'm not only going to reach out to the 18 that I found that day, I'm going to reach out to the 14 from that day. When you hit day 16, now it starts to stack and you start really reaching out to a lot of people. And the cool thing about that is you start to kind of play around with your messaging. I'll try a couple of different messages and see what sticks. I mentioned Peter Nieves, and when I started reaching out to affiliates, there's a line in the first email that I send out that, let me see if I can find it, because actually it's a pretty good line. Give me just a second. So here we go. So I reached out, I tried this out. I said, Peter is a vicious Puerto Rican who will rip your face off if you ever encounter him in a courtroom. So let's hope that never happens. One of the ways to make sure that never happens is to become an affiliate of his. And then I go on and I talk about, his qualifications. That was it was an email where I went, I could see that coming across the wrong way. I don't know if I want to do that, but I'll try it with a few. And it was a hit. The response rate was unbelievable. The positivity rate was unbelievable. And it cut through the clutter. People read the next sentence. That's the whole thing we know about copywriting. The whole point of the first sentence is to get them to read the second is to read the third, and so on. And it got people to read it. And I was like, oh, and it worked. And I had the numbers. I mean, we manually tracked it. I was like, oh, we have a 42% response rate, 38% positive yes rate. That's considerably higher. So we start small versus if I get a list of 1,000 and then send 1,000, well, I don't get to test anything.
Yeah.
So I start reaching out and I start to get yeses. And this is the cool thing. They did a study years ago. It's counterintuitive study. They did a study with couples that were engaged, sending out wedding invitations. And it was, what's the best way to do the wedding invitations? If you got 300 wedding invitations to send out, what's the best way to do it? Is it to have, okay, the husband sitting there folding the paper 300 times, and then the wife, or, well, not that case, it wouldn't be husband and wife yet, but, she stuffs the envelope, and then it goes back to husband. He stamps them all, and then she addresses them and whatever, Or do I do like 5 folds and then 5 stuffs and then 5 write and 5 stamp and, boom, 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 right? The actual better way was that second way, because we see the progress. And the same is true with affiliates. If I'm going to reach out to 17 on day 1, by the next day, I've got 1 or 2 positive responses, and I go, oh man, I got an affiliate.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to do 30 today. And I do it with joy, because I've already got 2 that said yes, or even just 1. And then by the end of that day, I've got 3. And it's like, dang it, I got 3 versus, hey, I got 58 people on a spreadsheet. Woo! You're going to lose interest really fast. It gets boring. Trust me, I do it a lot. Adding people to a spreadsheet is mind-numbing. It hurts. It makes me sad inside. But if I add people to a spreadsheet and get some, all of a sudden those names, it just changes the dynamic. So that's just a little tip. Like, don't try to add 100 people to a spreadsheet. Add 15, 20 at the most. Reach out to those 15 or 20. Then go add 15 or 20 more for all I care, and just keep doing that.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. So basically, let me just recap this. It's, Google search, go on app. Obviously, you have your customer list and your friend list. So use them first. But then secondly, Google search, competitors' top product, either just courses that or on Amazon, look recommended in Amazon. Think of kind of like supplementary services. Like you said, if you're doing a podcast course, someone's selling podcast equipment or things like that, put them in a list, test some kind of messages, and you're really asking them, do you want to be an affiliate? And then that would kind of integrate them into the software, and then they can kind of sign up themselves and then do it. Is that right?
Yep. Cool. A few other ways I'll just share real quick. Watch leaderboards. I mean, affiliate programs most of them publish a list of their top affiliates. And like, I promote stuff. I'm on a leaderboard right now, doing pretty well in this big launch. And I think we're in like 5th place. We're doing great. At the end of this launch, there's a little secret. What I will do at the end of this launch is I will reach out to everybody else. They'll send a final email and say, hopefully we finish top 5 or so. I'd love to finish first, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But either way, I'll finish somewhere between 2nd and 6th. And hey, we did great. That's awesome. I will reach out to everybody, both above me and below me. And I'll say, like, everybody above me, I'll say, hey, congratulations, congratulations on winning. Congratulations on 2nd place. Congratulations on 3rd place. Hey, you just beat me, haha. We should talk. Everybody below me, hey, great job. Would love to talk sometime about possibly, and this could be promoting our clients, promoting our stuff. A lot of times I already know the people. It's like, hey, congrats, buddy. Way to go. We should catch up sometime. And from that, I'll send that to maybe 20, 22 people, depending upon how many people they publish. And I'll get 16, 18 calls from that, or responses. Not only have I gotten affiliates for our clients, affiliates for our own stuff, I've gotten actual clients. I mean, the first big book launch I ever ran years ago, Jeff Goins, we ended up doing 22,000 pre-orders, paid pre-orders of his book, right? He did all the bestseller lists. I got that because we were both on a leaderboard, and I beat him by 1 spot, and I knew him well enough. And I was like, hey, I beat you. Haha. Something like that. And he responded back and said, dude, we need to talk. I need you to run my book launch. Can you do that? And sure enough, I did. And it was one of the things that got me on the map in book launch world, because I never run a book launch. I'd done product launches. I'd run programs for like Shutterfly and Adidas and, these big programs kind of in that world, but I'd never done a book. And so I was like, sure, I can help. I mean, the principles are the same. You do what I just told you. Go look up books on Amazon. You find affiliates. You get them to promote the book launch. You have a deadline for getting the pre-order bonuses. I mean, it's a product launch, but with a book. It's a $25 product launch is all it is, instead of a $2,000 course. And so I came in, I did that. Next thing you know, Lewis House is like, can you do it for me? Brian Tracy's like, can you do it for me? Peter Voog's like, can you do it for me? Boom, boom. Just went down the list. We started getting people left and right wanting us to do their book launches. And the reality is I had that in me the whole time. I just didn't know it. So yeah, that message, like promoting to, or sending an email to leaderboards, participating. If a lot of affiliate programs, they'll have a Facebook group or something that you can participate in and get your name seen by potential affiliates. I mean, there's so many other ways, but your mastermind group, if you got a mastermind group, gosh, I said your audience already, your customers. Oh, I wanted to share competitors. Okay. So competitors, this is a big one. Reach out to your competitors, find a way to work with them. A great example of this is years ago, I ran a guitar instruction affiliate program. And so our course was, to paint the picture in the easiest way, our course was 20 lessons about going from like basics, like how to hold the guitar and how to read music, to the last like 7 or 8 lessons were how to play jazz guitar, how to play electric guitar, how to play a 12-string guitar, how to play blues guitar. Lesson number 14 was all about blues guitar. It was a 1-hour lesson on blues guitar. That was it. There's not enough time to learn blues guitar, but you can learn the basics. And so we had a guy named Dan Denley who had a course that was like a 20-hour course just on blues guitar. So what did we do? At the end of lesson 14, we said, hey, do you want to go in depth? Did you like this lesson? Do you like blues guitar? Do you want to go in depth with blues guitar? Go get Dan's course. It's $99. Now, we're competitors in the sense of we're both competing for people who want to learn guitar, but they already bought our course. Why not buy his? He did the same thing. Like, hey, you took my blues guitar course. Do you want to learn other styles of guitar and kind of dabble in them? Do you want to learn all these other things? Go get this course. Or if somebody came to him and they asked for a refund and they said, no, this is too advanced for me, he'd say, oh, you need a more beginner course? This is the course for you. It'll take you from beginner to intermediate. Then you can come back and buy my course. And so he ended up selling about $100,000, $200,000 a year in our courses. And we did the same for him. We sold about $75,000 to $100,000 working with basically a direct competitor. So look for ways with your competitors. It might be somebody who's maybe, like you could do an upsell. You sell a $200 course, you upsell them into a $2,000 course that's your competitors. Reverse that. It could be a downsell. It could be, let's say somebody's been on your list for more than a year and they haven't bought your stuff. Try to sell them one of your competitors' products. Maybe they kind of like being on your list, but they're like, I don't know if I want that person teaching me. I can't see spending $2,000 with them. I could see spending $2,000 with this other person. So promote your competitors. Ooh, niche within a niche. So if you've got, again, that's what I just shared. If you've got like a niche within a niche kind of thing where it's like, okay, guitar is the niche, but blues guitar is a sub niche, find ways where you can work with your competitors. And then the last one, once you start getting affiliates, ask your affiliates for referrals. It is like the dumbest thing. Like that I even have to say this, but I'm going to tell you, Lucas, I've been a part of probably 300 affiliate programs. Maybe 5 have ever asked me to refer another affiliate. And the crazy thing is, that's what I do for a living. But they've very rarely asked me. I've almost never seen it done where affiliate programs ask their affiliates for referrals. Again, what did I say earlier? We hang out in fairly homogenous groups. So if I'm into, what was our example? If I'm a podcaster and I am promoting a course about starting a podcast, guess what? I probably know 10 other people who would be a great person to promote a course on how to start a podcast. If I am in the hydroponic gardening niche, I probably hang out with other people who are at least in the gardening niche. Vegans hang out with other vegans. Newsflash, this is the way things are. I know people who could be that. So it's very simple. You send out an email periodically that just says, hey, Lucas, do you know anybody else thanks for being a great affiliate for us. Do you know anybody else who'd be a great affiliate? Just send an intro and we'll make sure to give you a second tier commission. A second tier commission is where I refer somebody to you, Lucas, and you pay me a little bit of the money. So if it's a $2,000 course and you pay the affiliate who made the sale $800, you'll pay me like $200. You go, well, that's an additional cost. Yep, it's an additional cost. It's an additional 10% of something versus 100% of nothing.
Nothing.
And that's one thing people have to get. Same with paid advertising. You have to get it through your mind like, I can't pay 40%. Yes, you can. You're paying 40% of something versus 100% of nothing. So that's how you do it.
Yeah, this is gold. This is amazing. So beyond the initial email, do you kind of like what happens next with a lot of these affiliates, right? Because I assume some, yeah. But in terms of them going out and selling it, do you like need to provide them with anything to help them? Number one, and also with this kind of like a Google search mission, I assume that there's, different platforms, right? There's going to be people with email lists. There's going to be people with blogs. There might be people with kind of, big Instagram accounts or things like that. So I'm curious kind of what, how you help them. Do you do anything once they've signed up? Obviously following up, but from like a asset or kind of?
Yeah. So once they're on board, now just to go back, follow up 10 times with a prospect every 8 days. That way you're hitting different days of the week. 10 times. If they haven't responded, give them a few months off, then follow up another 10 times. It's easy to follow up. But okay, so once they're on, this is where the real money is, because getting them, that's a big part. Once they're on board, I'm recording a podcast episode, so I don't know when this will release, but I'm actually literally getting ready to record a podcast episode talking about my predictions for 2024 in the affiliate marketing world. And one of them is just that the level of hand-holding that affiliate programs need to do with their affiliate and the level of personalization is increasing. And specifically, there's an old saying, affiliates are lazy and they want everything handed to them. Well, that's not true. They're just busy. Their priority is their business. I'm an affiliate for 10 to 12 things a year. And the reality is, I haven't logged into any of those dashboards. My team is doing stuff. I care about how I do. I want to do well. I want to make a lot of money. I love getting, oh, look, a $24,000 PayPal deposit. Yay. That's awesome. Or, oh, we won a contest and we won an extra $10,000. That's great. But at the same time, that's not my number one priority. Even during that search, my number one priority is my team, my audience, my personal health and well-being and those types of things, and my income. Those are my priorities. And then down here is their affiliate promotion. So we get busy and we need things handed to us. So let me give you a few things you need to do. Number one, especially with the newbies, you need to train them. You need to invite them to live trainings. You need to do office hours, once a week or once every 2 weeks, where you just get on and answer questions with them and you build kind of an affiliate community. You need a Facebook group and yes, I say Facebook group because while there are other platforms, that's the thing they log into and they'll just kind of stumble upon it, each day or so. You need a Facebook group where they can interact and they can ask questions. And you can answer questions publicly. And one of the things that a Facebook group does is when somebody has a question, life is like 7th grade algebra. If one person has a question, there's probably 8 other kids sitting there going, I had that same question, but I was too afraid to ask. Now they don't email you. Your question was answered publicly. You don't get 9 emails. You get one Facebook, thing. All right. You need a Facebook group. You need to give them tools. You need to give them swipe copy. And this is one of the things that we're seeing now, especially with medium to larger sized affiliates, is you got to give them personalized swipe copy. And I'm going to teach you how to do that real quick. This was something before that you had to take hours and hours and hours. You had to write email after email. And I would do this for some of our big affiliates. That's why I'm a great affiliate manager, because I would take the time to do it. It wasn't necessarily because I'm smart or anything, but I would say, hey, I wrote some specific swipe copy for you. Let me tell you how to do it now. We do it now. We create, and you can do this on your own. I would say, pay me lots of money and buy my bot. You don't have to buy my bot. All right. First of all, I don't even sell it. Okay. Secondly, if I did, you just do it on your own. All right. It's the worst sales pitch ever. Don't buy the thing that I'm creating to probably sell, but I created it for myself. We have a series of chats in ChatGPT. So it's all AI. And we loaded like 50 of their emails. So I have one particular big affiliate. He's a libertarian talk show host, and he has a very specific style of writing, and he promotes all kinds of things in the internet marketing world. I took 50 of his emails. I loaded them into this bot. I didn't do it, but my assistant did. But I loaded them into this bot, and I said, here's his style. Okay, analyze his style. Then I took our generic swipe copy and said, write it in his style. Spits it out. Boom. Tom, here's your swipe copy. This swipe copy is not like anybody else's swipe copy. It uses your words, your language, your tone. It ends the way you do it. The links are formatted like you do. And I early on, I would tweak a couple of things and say, hey, here's how I tweak this to actually make it more like him. By about the 5th time tweak, I haven't tweaked one of his emails in 50 to 100 emails. It's learned how it does it. It's done it. Okay, so then I can do that with so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And yes, it is extra work. It's AI is doing most of the work. We loaded the 50 emails.
Yeah.
We're still doing this one by one. Now, we send out generic swipe copy to most people, but we send out this personalized swipe copy to some of the bigger ones. So we've got to train them. We've got to serve. We got to give them graphics. We have to provide them with the tools they need. We need to make sure that we're giving them their link and that we're staying in front of them. We need to, all these things, right? We're running contests. We're motivating. We're analyzing the data. I'll give you an example of, and what I'm doing when I share things like this, it's not necessarily so that anybody just copies this one thing. I hope that when you hear this, you go, oh, here's some other things I could do that Matt didn't even say. So let me give you an example of a contest you can run. 2 contests, actually. Number 1, I call this the Everybody Can Win contest. All they got to do is mail more. So we say, hey, we're going, like, say we're doing a product launch. On the last day of the launch, I want our affiliates mailing 5, 6, 7 times, not 2 times, not 1 time for sure. 5, 6, 7 times. Add me to your email list. I'm going to create a special email, Matt plus, and then let's say the client's name is Peter Nieves. I keep talking about Peter. Peter, by the way, if you're listening to this, I'm doubling your rate because I've talked about you so much in this episode. And lots of people are going to sign up for your affiliate program. All right. So I'm going to do Matt plus Peter at mattmcwilliams.com. That is not a real email. If you email that, I don't know where it's going to go. All right. So you email that and add me to your list. I'm giving you permission to add me to your list. And at the end of this launch, we're going to go in, we're going to count all the emails. There's going to be 1,512 emails sent to that email. I'm going to use random.org. I'm going to say 1 through 1,512. Boom, 217. I'm going to count down to number 217. I'm going to go to the third page because it's 100, 100. 17th email down. John Smith, you just won $5,000 for emailing. So whoever, it's not who mails the most. It's every email you send, you get entered in this contest. I don't care if you make no sales. You could still win if you would just email a lot. All right. So that's one contest. The second thing is an individual contest because we all kind of know like, oh, most sales, you get this much money. Second most sales, you get this much money. An individual contest. This is more for an evergreen program, right? All right. I log in. I see that, let's say we have a membership. And Lucas, last year in the third quarter of the year, you signed up 200 people for our membership. All right. So keep that, write that number down, 200 in Q3 of last year. All of last year, I'm going to make the math easier for myself. You did 800. So exactly 1/4 of your sales happened in the third quarter. This year through the second quarter, you've only done 200. So last year through the second quarter, you would have done 400. This year, you've done 200. So you're on pace to do exactly 100 this quarter. Here's the email I'm going to send you. I'm going to say, hey, Lucas, man, hope your summer's going great. Of course, it might be winter for you. Anyway, so hope your summer's going great. Really excited about the upcoming quarter. We have some really cool promotions coming up in July and August, yada, yada, yada. I was looking over your numbers. Last year, you did 200 sales in Q3. I've got a challenge for you. If you can do 201, just one more than you did in Q3 of last year, I'm going to give you $25,000 or whatever it might not be that much. If it's
whatever makes
$50
sense,
a month membership. Now, here's the thing. You go, okay, $50. Let's say it's $100 a month membership. 100 times 100, because if he's at 100, he's going to do 100. You're going to do 100, right, Lucas? That's what you're on pace to do because you did 100 last 2 quarters. You're on a pace to do 100 this quarter. Okay, $100 a month. What's 100 times 100? 10,000. That's $10,000 a month. Okay, that's number one. Number two, nobody ever lands on exactly 201. You're either going to blow through it and hit 267 or you're going to end up at 184. So if you do 184, I got 84 extra sales for free. Didn't have to pay you anything other than your regular commission. If you hit 267, you're blowing it away. What's a $25,000 bonus? It's an insane amount of money. That's like, I don't know, with inflation, that might not any longer be a new car. It's pretty, you could buy like a Nissan
secondhand,
Supra.
maybe. Yeah.
You could buy like,
exactly.
You could buy one of those, like you could buy a Kia for $25,000. Either way, it's still a pretty sweet thing. $25,000 is not a small amount of money. Make it $35,000. Buy him a Tesla. Tell you what, okay, and you go, well, that's insane. No, because in 3 months you have made money. You're profitable in 3. And again, most people aren't going to even hit the goal. The point is to give them something so insane that they go, oh my gosh, I've done things like, I'll buy you Super Bowl tickets. Super Bowl tickets are like $4,000 each. I'll buy you 4 Super Bowl tickets, $16,000. I'll pay your way to the Super Bowl. I'm gonna book your flights for you, first class for you and 3 friends, 4 Super Bowl tickets, and I'm going to give you $2,000 for all of your meals. It's like a $24,000 package. If you hit this, half the people do, and half the people fall short. But every single time I've ever done that, that's extra. So those are the things you want to be looking for. They're a little bit outside the box, and that's an individual thing. I'm not offering, not our top affiliate gets Super Bowl tickets. No, it's just you if you hit this number.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to hear, you've given so much value over the last hour. I feel like I could speak to you, for 3 hours, but I'd love to hear, some of the biggest campaigns that you've run. Obviously, any numbers you can share just to give people perspective about, what this looks like at the biggest scale. Some of your favorite or kind of craziest, campaigns you've done.
We worked with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi coaching their affiliate team on I think it was their second or third launch. I mean, that was a $50 million launch for KBB, mastermind.com. I mean, they was their biggest. Was it because I coached them? Well, that wasn't why it was 50. It was why it was maybe 50 instead of 40.
Yeah.
But the first 40 million, they got on their own. That was super fun just because of the volume. Jeff Walker's launch a couple of years ago, was his biggest in a while. And part of it was they expanded their affiliate network. They realized that what we were doing, what I talked about earlier, working with their students and all these affiliates who might only make one sale, 2 sales, but you have 200 people making 2 sales. That's 400, of a $2,000 product, that's $800,000. There's multiple ways to make $1 million. You could have one affiliate make $1 million, or you could have 500 affiliates make $2,000 each. Both of those add up to $1 million. And the cool thing about the second version, it goes against the traditional logic. The traditional logic said 90% of your sales are going to come from your top 3 to 5 affiliates. Many people have said that. Not the affiliate programs we run. I mean, I can pull up the stats. Most of the affiliate programs we run, their top 3 to 5 affiliates make up 20, 25% of sales in the high end. And so part of that is the benefit is that takes away the risk. Because if my top affiliate leaves, when our top affiliate, I'll give you a great example. Jeff Goins, his second book that we ran. So it was his third book overall. His first book sold 3,000. Second one sold 22,000. Next one sold 24,000. We lost our top 2 affiliates from book to book. Michael Hyatt, we ran his launch. We took him from about 275,000 to 1.2 million. The next launch was 1.4 million. Not as big of growth. We lost 3 of the top 5 affiliates. Stu McLaren, this is the stat that blows people away. First launch we ran with him, we did 6 million. Next launch, we actually did 5.6 million. You go, wow, you're sharing the one where you went down $500,000 as a success story. We lost 9 out of our top 10 affiliates. Not because of anything we did wrong or he did wrong. It's a very long story that basically centered around the course name and what was going on in the world. And it was a culturally sensitive course name and a bunch of people dropped out of promoting it. We still did 5.6 million out of 6.1 million because losing 9 of our top 10 affiliates because we had this huge group of customers and other people who were making 1, 2, 3 sales. I've got case study after case study from that launch. Michelle Caruana came in. She had a list of 4,000, people, on her audience who weren't even in the membership site niche. She did something like $18,000 in sales. Brenda Sturr had a list of like 1,800 people, made like 42,000 in sales. Sarah Williams, the year before made 9 sales. This year made 182, won the whole thing, won the $100,000 first prize. So it's like, just person after person, like we're helping them grow and they go from being small to big, or they go from making, 5 to 10. 5 to 10 sales is doubling. You get 25 affiliates. Just do the quick math on this. 25 affiliates to go from 5 to 10, $250,000 in additional sales of a $2,000 course. And they didn't even grow that much. Like a lot of it is that first year they're practicing and they're messing up and they're going, oh, I didn't know that. And I wasn't prepared for that. And we teach them like, hey, here's why you should promote over the weekend, or here's why you should send 5 emails in the last day. And they go, I don't believe you, Matt. And then they do the halfway version. They send 3 and they go, oh my gosh, I made 9 sales off that last email. If I had sent 5, what would have happened? So the following year they send 7. And so we see that time and time. It's like that second launch. That's what we always talk about, the fourth launch. The fourth launch is where we finally hit our stride usually. Not because we worked harder on the fourth one. It's because the first one, a lot of the affiliates are figuring things out. The second one, now they've figured out a few of them and they have a little bit bigger audience. By the third one, they actually have a bigger audience. And by the fourth one, boom, like now everybody wants to be a part of it. And this is one of the things that we see happen, why I love affiliates versus any other form of advertising. Because if you hit the saturation point, we've all been there, right? You're on a lot of lists, aren't you, Lucas? Because you watch what people do. People in a niche, like, it's like, how many weight loss books does the average person buy? You know how many is? It's either 0 or 20. Nobody buys 1 weight loss book. Nobody buys 2. Nobody buys 1 of anything to solve a problem. We buy like 10 or 15 or 20. We subscribe. Nobody goes, I'm going to Google this subject. Let's see. I have a problem to solve. I have shoulder pain. I'm going to Google and go to the one site, sign up for that one site and not go any further. No, we go up to 15 sites and sign up for all of them. We grab all their lead magnets. We buy 3 things in their funnel. We do if they do it right, if they're not doing funnels, well, they're missing out. But like, if we buy like multiple things, and now we have 27 things and we're on 15 lists. And so here's the thing. If you've ever seen it where it seems like everybody under the sun is promoting the exact same thing in a very confined period of time, that's called momentum. And the cool thing about it is if we get our affiliate program to the point where we worked our butts off to get 200, 300 affiliates to all promote in the same period of time, then everybody who watches them, they want to be a part of it too. Because when you have 20 affiliates, the odds of somebody else, another blogger, YouTuber, podcaster, influencer, being on multiple lists is pretty slim. When you have 50, they might be on 2 lists. 2 lists is okay. They might follow 3 of them on social media. And it's like, oh, I think I saw that earlier today. No, when they get exposed to it, when you get one of those situations where back-to-back emails are all about your company or your launch, your product, their feed on Facebook is like, oh my gosh. And you go, well, isn't it a little bit annoying? No, because now they're going, I should probably be a part of that too. But the launch ends in 3 days. So they can't sign up for this one. So they sign up and then next year they promote. And that has happened in niche after niche after niche that we promoted. With Shutterfly, went on and I said, guys, like their CEOs, like we got to get photographers and we got to get these. And I was like, no, we're going to pick one niche and we're going to dominate that. And so I picked mommy bloggers and I went out and I got like 500 mommy bloggers. And it got to the point where if you Google the promo code that we were releasing for Shutterfly, within 2 hours, there'd be 1,000+ results on Google, all for that promo code. And it got to the point where basically, if you wanted to start a mommy blog, it was step 1, register your domain. Step 2, set up hosting. Step 3, sign up for the Shutterfly affiliate program. And then once we kind of hit peak on that and they were starting to come to us left and right without us even having to actively pursue them, then I said, okay, we're going to go get photographers. And we worked our butts off to get a couple hundred photographers. Guess what? Photographers follow photographers. They're all on each other's list. So once they started promoting it, then photographers started, and I said, okay, nonprofits, we're going to go get PTOs and PTAs. We started getting those. And then they started signing up in droves, and then it just started to expand. And by the time I left there, we had over 100,000 affiliates. We took Shutterfly's affiliate program from 15 to over $325 million. And it was all because we focused on one niche. I was like, for 6 months, I'm going to do nothing but get mommy bloggers. Then I'm going to get I'm not going to try to get like 5 photographers, then 5 mommy bloggers. And then that's not the way to grow, because we became so saturated in the market that it was like, I want to be a photographer. Okay, step 1, buy your camera. Step 2, register your business. Step 3, get clients. Step 4, sign up for the Shutterfly affiliate program. Like it just became a part of the process.
Man, if I could speak to you for 3 hours on this, man. I know you have about like 20,000 stories and strategies. We have to. I know we're coming up to the 1 hour mark. I guess for like closing kind of questions or thoughts in, if someone has a course, product, coaching program, online kind of digital product business, and they want to get into affiliate marketing. Obviously, you've given a ton of tips, but is there any kind of like final advice or words of wisdom that you want to give them before they go out and start doing it?
Do it. Do it. Pick one of the methods I shared. I don't care where you start. I recommend starting with your customers. Okay, we've only got 12 customers. Okay, reach out to those 12. Okay, well, you got 2. Okay, cool. Start with those 2. Then go to, pick a method and just say, I'm going to spend a certain amount of time on that method. Whatever you think it needs to be. If it's a week, 2 weeks, 6 weeks, we have a company that we're working with, a big client of ours. We will import 38,000 affiliates on day 1. I told them, I'm not reaching out to anybody externally for 4 months. It's going to take us 4 months at a minimum to set up and service those 38,000. So focus on one.
Just do it. Yeah, love it. Well, on that point, if somebody has an online course, an online business, and they want to learn more from you, they want to reach out, where can they find you? Where do they go? What do they do?
First thing, go to mattmcwilliams.com/first100, FIRST100. So mattmcwilliams.com, it's my name.com, /first100. I've got a free report there to download. And guess what? It goes into a funnel. I know everybody's like, I can't believe it. But it does. All right. So I'm just going to tell you in advance, I'm going to try to get you to buy stuff too. There's some cool stuff in there. Buy it if you want. Don't buy it if you don't. Buy it later. Buy it now. Doesn't matter to me. Okay. That's a free report that walks through some of those places. I got 16 places in there, step-by-step, how to find affiliates. I got some email scripts in there that you can use and all those things. The second thing I would say, you guys are podcast listeners, look up my podcast, The Affiliate Guy. If you just type in, affiliate, I'm usually the first thing that pops up. The Affiliate Guy podcast. Listen, I cover a lot of the stuff we covered here, but there's 570 some odd episodes now. So I go in a lot more depth into those, and just search around for some of the stuff that you want to look for. Like, okay, you need to we talked about onboarding affiliates. I shared a couple of things. I have an entire episode on onboarding affiliates. I have an entire episode on finding affiliates. I have an entire episode on how to get affiliates from leaderboards. I have an entire episode on how to use leaderboards, like how to actually use leaderboards in your own company, how to run contests. I talked about 2 contests. You want like 10 more? Go listen to that episode. So just kind of play around, scroll through, look for the episodes that appeal to you. I've got so much content. It's ridiculous. I'm an open book. I share all of my secrets and best practices. And then some people go, you know what, Matt, I'm going to do that myself. I've got a small niche. I would be perfectly content with a $10, $15, $50,000 a month affiliate program. Oh my gosh, that'd be my dream. Cool. Don't hire us to run your affiliate program. I don't want to run a $25,000 affiliate program. I have just no interest. On the other hand, if you're like, dude, I want to go big, I think I've got this thing. I want to be like the Jeff Walkers, the Tony Robbins, the Stu McLarens, the Ryan Levesques of the world. I'm easy to find. When you download that report, I'm going to send you more emails. Also, newsflash, right? Email me back. Hit me up. Let's schedule a call and we'll talk about how we can help you.
Love it. Well, I'll leave links to the podcast, to the free report below wherever you're listening, watching to this. So go check it out. Go through his funnel, buy his shit, implement it yourself, or work with him. Because yeah, man, like you're obviously.
Can we just put that at the top of the funnel there? Like
done. That's it. That can be a VSL. All right, done. You can just give me maybe a 1 or 2% of sales.
You can be like a summer. You'll be the referring affiliate. Yeah, we'll make you a second tier affiliate for that.
All right, love it. All good. All right, guys. Well, we'll go and sign up for that. Make me some money. But no, in all seriousness, man, this episode was amazing. So much gold here, so much passion, so much energy, so many crazy stories with huge people. Yeah, people's minds are going to be blown. Go out, start your affiliate program. He literally gave you the blueprint. There's free stuff, free podcasts with him on the internet. This shit is so powerful. And yeah, I need to go and do my own affiliate program because this is
do it, man.
Mind blowing. Seriously, man. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
Cool. That's a wrap. Thanks, guys.